Hello and welcome to solving a math question with the Matthews fraction strips. So before I can do that, I need to know where the Matthews fraction strips is. So I'm going to type in Matthews, and the first result is the correct one actually. Once I get to the Matthews homepage, you can see that the fraction strips are actually right in the center. But if I didn't know that, I could click on the learning tools to get a list of all of them and scroll down until I hit the F section, and there's my fraction strips. And I'm going to open it on a computer here, but if you wanted to do this on an iPad, you could download it from the App Store or from an Android tablet. You could do it on the Google as well. And it will also work on a Chromebook if you have Chromebooks in your school. So I'm going to open it up. And the first thing I did when I read the question is I took a little screenshot of the question, and then I saved it to my desktop, and I called it "Which fraction is larger?" I can import that using the mountain icon and keep it as a reference so that I don't forget what I'm working on. And the first thing I notice is that I've got 8/7, 9ths, and 10ths, but there's no labels at all in my fraction tower. I've got my whole up here, and I've got halves and then thirds, but it gets a little tougher to differentiate once we get to the larger denominator. So I'm going to turn the labels on in the fraction tower, but only in the first mode, which means that once I drag the 7th out into the workspace, that label disappears. You can still put labels on everything if you want by clicking the button again, but for now I think to encourage some spatial relationship thinking, I'm going to turn the labels off when it's in the workspace. So the first thing I'm going to do is represent my 6/7. So if I copy this until I've got it all the way filled up, I know that this is the same as one whole, which means that there's 7/7 if I counted them out, and if I take one out, that will give me my 6/7. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I count the original one, take it out. And I notice something right away, which is that if I zoom in here, the gap that is left by the 7ths being taken out is larger than the gap when I took the 8 out. And if I stop to think about this for a moment, that makes sense because there's less pieces being used to create the whole. So if I take one out, it has to be leave behind a larger gap. So in any case, I'm going to continue doing this. So for the 9ths and the 10ths, what I can actually do is click right on the number of 9ths that I want to bring out and the number of 10ths that I want to bring out. And that's a nice shortcut way to bring out a representation. And what you see is this pattern right away where I've got my 7ths, my 8ths, my 9ths, and 10ths. And as the denominator increases, the gap left by removing one decreases. And what that lets me hypothesize is that if I've got this kind of pattern where we're always taking one away from the denominator to fill the numerator, and I've got larger denominators, they are going to be bigger than the smaller denominator ones. And I can test that theory by actually putting them together and seeing what the result is. And then if I put them side by side, lo and behold, the 7ths and the 8ths are indeed smaller than the 9ths and the 10ths. So the 9ths and the 10ths together are bigger in this case.